It was nearly midnight when Ethan caught the sound of a knock in a serene neighborhood where the only noise was the soft chime of the antique clock in his corridor. That knock echoed like a storm's roar. He wasn't awaiting visitors. He lived by himself, yet when he swung open the door and saw her standing there, barefoot, drenched from the downpour, clad only in a tear-streaked grin, he sensed their lives were about to transform forever. Ethan Brooks, a 38-year-old widower and woodworker, resided in a simple two-bedroom home on Denver's outskirts, Colorado. Since losing his wife in a tragic crash 3 years prior, he'd withdrawn into solitude. He labored through the day, returned to a quiet void, and lived with the faint echo of love that once warmed his home. That knock was unexpected, and her presence even more so. She was young, perhaps in her early 20s, wrapped in a thin, oversized white blouse that stuck to her soaked frame. Her dark locks clung to her cheeks, her arms crossed tightly, shielding more than just her form. Her eyes, red not only from rain but from a heart's tempest, pleaded silently. "Please," she murmured, voice trembling. "I had nowhere else to turn." Ethan's instincts battled, his loneliness. He could have closed the door, called for help, but something in her fragile tone, her delicate smile, stirred a promise he'd once made to never abandon someone in need. So, he welcomed her, inside, offering a warm blanket, a mug of hot chocolate, and sat across the room as she shivered, gazing at the floor. "I'm Sophie," she finally said. "I'm sorry for arriving like this. Her voice cracked. "I fled. I had to escape." Ethan didn't pry immediately. He waited, knowing silence could sometimes be gentler than questions. After an hour, she spoke again. "I was meant to wed a man tomorrow. He's a decade older, wealthy, domineering. My stepfather arranged it, claiming it would save our family, but it would shatter me." She glanced at Ethan. "I slipped out a window, trekked through the rain. I recalled your house." Ethan furrowed his brow. "How do you know me?" "You aided my mother once, years back," she said. "She worked in your woodshop, said you were compassionate, that if I ever faced real trouble I could find you. I clung to that memory." Ethan's eyes brimmed with tears. He remembered Sophie's mother, Clara, a resilient, kind woman who succumbed to cancer a year after his wife. She'd once told him, "Kindness lingers, Ethan. You never know when yours will come back." Now it had. Over the next few days, Sophie stayed in the spare room. She asked for nothing, never overstepped. She prepared breakfast before Ethan left for work, folded clothes, mended chipped plates with care. Slowly, like a wary fawn, she began to open up. Ethan learned she was 22, loved sketching but never attended art school. Her stepfather had squandered their savings and controlled her every step. Her mother's passing left her with a man who viewed her as a possession. Ethan offered sanctuary, not just shelter, but dignity and space. But the town wasn't as kind. Whispers spread. "She's half his age. She appeared from nowhere. She's after his wealth." Ethan and Sophie heard it all. One afternoon, Sophie asked, "Should I go? I don't want to tarnish your name." He met her gaze. "People will gossip regardless. What matters is what we hold true in here." He touched his chest. "And I know you're safe here." Still, tension grew. One night, a sleek black SUV pulled up outside Ethan's home. Sophie froze, spotting it through the window. "It's him," she whispered. Before Ethan could ask, the front door burst open. A man in a tailored suit stormed in, flanked by 2 guards. "I'm taking her back," he growled. Ethan stepped in front of Sophie, voice steady. "You'll do no such thing." The man sneered. "She's mine, promised to me. You have no right." Ethan's tone turned icy. "She's not property. She's a person, and she chooses." Sophie stepped forward, voice quaking, but eyes fierce. "I'd rather perish than return with you." The man lunged, but Ethan seized his arm, twisting it back. "Leave now, or the police will handle this." The man hesitated, then, seeing Sophie's defiance and Ethan's resolve, retreated. The SUV sped off into the night. Sophie collapsed into Ethan's arms, sobbing uncontrollably, her heart finally unburdened. In the weeks that followed, Ethan helped her secure a restraining order, connected her with a group that aided young women escaping forced unions, and found her a counselor. He bought her art, supplies, and one morning, he entered the living room to find a large canvas drying by the window. It depicted his front door, with a girl standing before it, rain-soaked, wearing a tearful smile. "That's how I looked when you first saw me," she whispered, voice thick with gratitude. "That's how I knew you were genuine," he replied, eyes misty. Their bond deepened, not romantic but profoundly human. They cooked together, strolled in the garden, shared quiet breakfasts and late-night talks. Healing takes time, but kindness hastens it. A year later, Sophie held her first art exhibition. Ethan stood in the front row, proud as a father, friend, and guardian. When a reporter asked, "Who changed your life?" Sophie replied, "A stranger who offered me refuge not just from the rain outside, but from the storm within." If a man with a wounded heart can open his door to a stranger, and a girl with nothing but a tearful smile can rebuild her life, then so can you. Kindness doesn't always wear a cape. Sometimes it simply opens the door. Like this video if it stirred your heart. Subscribe to Kindness Tales Stories for more heartfelt tales of love, courage, and healing. Remember, your small act of kindness could be someone's turning point.